crux of this series seems to land.
As we get into picks and bans of our third game, LGD back on the blue side for the third time in a row. RA on the red side. No switching this time around. The Corki, Caitlyn, and Renekton banned away by LGD. The Rex side left open yet again. Zeri, Rise, and Lee Sin banned away by RA. First pick, typical. It's the Jinx.
What are you talking about? This is such a
This is groundbreaking
surprise.
Oh, yeah. It's powder. I forgot.
I've not seen any of this coming. But, okay, Shadow now, starting to mix things up, going with the Hecarim. So, kind of going, look, at this stage, we want something that can really dive into the back line. Fearness wants to make sure that he can set himself up nicely in that top side. But you still have things like that Jace available for Cube. So, even if you want to go towards this Gwen, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cube kind of be the focal point here. I think the Aphelios is fine, but you can still opt in towards other things. And when this series has been basically not about the AD carries at all, it feels like taking Cube's pick in this top side should be the mainstay. But again, like, you can go towards the Jace. You've got the Kennen there as well. Maybe they feel like they have enough options in that top lane that they're just going to go for it. But no, yeah, there it is. I think that's such a better call from where Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Aphelios for iBoy, not too bad. The second game definitely a lot better than the first, but that Jace, it's open. You got to log it in. I do like we're getting the Gwen for the first time in the series, though, as it was left unbanned. The Hecarim as well. Very exciting stuff. Been seeing a lot of play around the Hecarim here, increasing competitive, at least in the shadows, it feels like. Going to the second phase, right? That changes our focus here for both teams, because Rare Adam, go ahead and ban away the Leona.
Yeah, and it feels like LGD would be like a Senna Aphelios ban, right? Like, just trying to get rid of those carries that we're kind of seeing more and more come through the bot side. Potential here if you want to go back towards something like the Jhin. We've seen that in the past. Ezreal as well has been a pick that we've seen crop up a little bit, although it doesn't have the best of times against the Jinx because you tend to kind of give her a bit of a free lane. I've actually been a fan of the Varus. Seen a lot over in the LEC. We've seen it creep up a little bit. Eric has actually played as well, but honestly, I think the Varus a little bit underrated in the ability to kind of like set up these fights with the utility that he has, and also just trying to be the push in lane against what a lot of the Jinx wants to do.
Yeah. The support bans continuing for RA, and the ADC bans aplenty for LGD. They ban away iBoys, Aphelios, and the Kai'Sa.
I think you go Senna here then. I thought they'd get rid of the Senna, but I think you can still have like relatively good farm and the opportunity to push in. I don't know about this one. I feel like keeping the counter pick for your mid lane is probably a little bit stronger. Like, you can always like give over Victor, then take something like the Orianna for Strive. But looks like they just want to try and make sure that they have the opportunity to play at range, get that zone control, since they're kind of lacking it with the Jace in the top lane.
Very, very interesting. I guess the counter pick not being utilized this time around by RA, but they know what they want to go for, and they do just that. On the other side, we're looking at LGD to pick up their final solo laner as well as their support. So I would expect maybe the support to come out here, but maybe we'll just get changes going through. As, it is the Akali that gets locked in, which I'm very excited for itself in the solo lane, but as well as for either Jay or actually Jay to be able to pilot that.
I mean, yeah, it'd be for Jay, right?
Yeah, which is very exciting in its own right. But this final piece is very, very integral to LGD, and they lock in the Maokai.
Okay. So I'm trying to work through it, right? Like, the Leona was gone, Rakan was gone. Maokai, like, works well into compositions where you have a ton of range you can try and kite back, right? But it's not exactly.
I love it because every single pick of this draft after the first two has just decimated you, Dagda, and I'm here for it.
So for LGD, right, like, Maokai works well into compositions that have range and want to kite back. The only range that you have on LGD side is the Jinx. So honestly, Rare Adam, we're the ones I was about to say is you have Jace, you have Victor, you are the ones that are going to be able to kite back super effectively. Lock in something like the Senna, you've got really good kite back, great control, zone control between like Senna W, the Victor, like, and then we get paid.
I see your analysis and I raise you iBoy. All right, he knows what he wants to play, and he gets it. All right.
Yeah, I think Vayne works wonders into a Hecarim that's going to jump in on top of her. Jay or the
Absolutely.
Akali is going to be standing right beside her the entire time she tries to do anything. And then in case she even tries to enter a fight because both of those are gone, Fearless is going to be there. That seems like a great opportunity.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's so interesting to me because it's a far cry from the Aphelios for iBoy, and that's been the bread and butter for this series so far, at least. But to kind of fully flip the table here in the game 3, right? You're putting all your eggs into the basket of this Vayne, right? Like the Vayne is the late game carry. You've got the Victor in the mid lane as well, and it's setting up those pieces to succeed. We saw Q be the main focus last time around. I would say we'll probably get more of that, but I would like to see some resources given to this Vayne that maybe we see the iBoy pop off once again.
Oh, you have to. Like, Vayne gets shoved in so hard in this lane, it's going to be nearly impossible for it to really do anything. So we're going to have to see some attention down to the spot side. The only thing is with the Maokai there, has really good peel, especially against Leon. So makes it kind of tough for Leon to get into that lane, especially post 6.
Well, we do make our way onto the rip for the third game of the day. LGD taking on RA, both at 1 and 5, trying to get a second series win on the board. This is the same thing we saw last game, and this time, just like last time, will not end up in Eric dying.
Nice attempt, though. Yangin already able to kind of just hook just around the corner there onto Eric, but not quite able to do so. So, let's look at where these lanes are going to be situated, right? For Rare Adam, once more, you look at that top side. Pushing mid, pushing top, first strike even for the Victor here as well. You're going to be able to have a ton of control over this top half of the map. When you look towards LGD, once more, they have the push in the bot side. So we're kind of looking to go, okay, do we see Shadow once more trying to make these plays down onto iBoy? Maybe look for the dives. It will be tough, though, just because you always have to be careful Strive having control over that mid lane. But I want to see what Shadow can do. Hecarim with the Ghost, so potent when it comes to those early ganks.
It is, and it's opting more into the playstyle we know Shadow for, the aggression, the early pathing, the unique pathing as well. And that's something I want to see here in this third game that we haven't necessarily gotten in the other two. And a little bit from Shadow last game, but obviously they lost that game, so it didn't work out so well for them. But the question is, where do we see that early aggression? Still both these junglers who have been the keys to the early game for both these games we've seen so far.
Jay taking a lot of damage in this mid lane. Has gone for the triple rejuve beads, which should make it a little bit easier for him to sustain through what's going to be a pretty abysmal laning phase. But I think coming back to like your kind of jungle point, Leon, looking at it, has like the opportunity to try and play through mid if he wants to, like push in, good damage. Like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Leon try and go for like some sort of early like level 3, level 4 dive onto mid lane, right? Like look at the health that Jay's on. I would love to see Leon just like you Raptors wrap in onto the blue side jungle here and go for a dive. Maybe even considering it now, as you can see, trying to see if he can move in to get vision.
A little bit of aggression, but from the side of Leanne, still a little bit of the same though, right? Like when we see these two junglers, we know them for the early game aggression, the pathing to try to get that aggression rolling into a snowball for them. And unfortunately for this time, Leanne, it will not work out.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate for Leanne that he kind of went for the, hey, I want to figure out where Shadow is. And because they didn't get any sort of early vision down, despite the fact that Yanja and Strive had kind of ran into, or sorry, Yanja and iBoy had run into that bot side. So they don't know where Shadow is. So Leanne doesn't feel comfortable to try and make any sort of mid lane play. But we'll go back over to his red. Gives the opportunity for Shadow to have the faster clear, as he's going to be able to move back in, clear his Krugs, and look for a quick reset. So maybe a window of opportunity for Shadow here to get up towards this top side early and make a play on towards Cube. Cube really wants to keep pushing in this lane, but if Shadow's just been able to pick up that tempo advantage and knows he has it because he spotted Leanne on that ward just at the blue buff, maybe LGD try to make something happen.
Yeah, I guess that's the next thing I'm looking at is where these resets end up, or I guess the redeploys end up going to, right? But Shadow decides not to bash and go for it. Okay. Oh, he's going for another lane game, but towards the bot side. But again, I would like what you were saying. Like, focus on Fearness a little bit more up here on this Gwen, because we've seen what Gwens can do across the LPL.
Also, just because it's such a terrible matchup, right?
Absolutely.
Like 12 CS lead already. Cube has been able to do a really good job of trading, and when you end up with the phase rush in this matchup, it becomes really hard then for the Gwen to try and do anything, right? She tries to jump on you with the snip snip. You get that quick combo off and you're able to just run the hell away. Here's Shadow though going for the play that we talked about.
Devastating charge going to be activated here, as well as the ghost. And Cube flashes on the other side of the devastating charge, or actually charge comes through afterwards, but Cube gets out because of that flash. And no matter how many times it feels like Shadow focuses his top side, Cube just gets out.
Yeah, great knockback from Cube to keep himself alive there, especially with both ghosts burned by Fearless and Shadow. A good amount invested by LGD onto the top side, but that's the beauty of having Ghost. That cooldown comes up that little bit quicker, so Cube will have to be safe in kind of about 3.5 minutes time. The good news at least is that Cube wanted to go for a reset anyway, so he's just able to take it back, come back into the lane, and shouldn't miss out on too much in the grand scheme of things.
So we did see the redeploys come out for both of the start for Shadow, get a little bit more speed on the horsey man, but he was towards the top side, actually going back towards the bottom side now. So a little bit different from the original plan. We kind of wanted to see maybe a little bit more focus towards the top side of the matchup, but it's still hovering around this dragon, which we did see RA opt into very early last game. A little bit different than this time.
You just don't have the bot side control to try and go for that, and nicer resets from Eric shouldn't give it. Leon, though, wants to try and punish the fact that Fearless had Shadow help out.
Yeah, he just used the mist as well, so we'll not have that cooldown. It should be coming up here pretty soon, but isn't going to be in time. Fearless under tower. There's a beautiful dive, and Leon makes it out by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, forced to flash away, but look at this Akali. Jay trying to roam up, has the level 6.
Does perfect execution, ready to go. Trigger is gonna be pulled here eventually. Jay just trying to buy his time to make sure it can happen. Oh, there we go. Cube going in for the counter though, as he's got the damage here. Jay just can't do anything about it. Accelerated shock blast not going to be utilized.
A very close call from Jay there. I thought he was gonna maybe try and look for the turnaround. Akali's a lot of damage at this stage, especially with the boots already picked up, but Jay just gonna heal up with those rejuve beads and make his way back in towards that mid lane.
A lot of healing there. Just try to sustain a good strive as he can. I do want to say it's been really interesting to me so far for Leon in this third game, right? And I want to go back to what we've seen in the past previous 2 games, in the differences that we have seen, right? In that first game, LGD and Shadow himself getting out on the map quickly and being able to find a lot of those early decisions, even though they weren't like leading into kills or anything, he was still getting presence on the map. That's something I feel like hasn't been necessarily true for Leon in this third game, although it's still an integral part to RA winning. He hasn't been able to get that same gumption, at least, that we've seen previously. Cube, though, getting the gumption put onto him. Nice moves from Jay and Fearless.
He missed.
Oh, no! A caster cursed him. They got Shadow here. He doesn't even get to help. Jay finishes it off.
Okay, so at least from LGD's side, they still get the kill. A little bit messy, but look, it's still working for them. And this is really big, right? Because for Cube, he wants to try and punish through this strong lane, but as you say, right, Leon has got up here to try and help out once, but hasn't been able to get up here now again to protect his top laner. So LGD are starting to get Fearless into a great position, and when Jay and Fearless can play through side lanes really well, that's going to be an issue that's going to come back and bite Rare at them if they're not careful. You need to make sure that as Leon that you're keeping control of this early game.
And that's something else that is much different for LGD going into this one. The other 2 games, absolute team fight comps, right? Like you had a little bit of finickiness here or there. This one is more so opting into that 1-3-1, making sure that the solo laners can have something to say. iBoy immediately burns Cleanse and try to get away. Beautiful condemn back. He's got the level 6 and he makes it out alive.
Yeah, just the cleanse invested versus the flashes Jinto. Now Fearless trying to see if he can get onto Cube, but as you can see, phase rush makes that difficult, but Leon is here. So is Shadow.
So much focus on this top side. Could get that 2v2, but it's Gromp that takes Shadow's ire. Still the wave pushing in for Cube means that Fearless will be just fine for the moment, and Leon will not get the gank off.
Jinja just here to help Jay shove in this mid lane, give it a little bit of control and him on the map as well now. I mean, all said and done, right? Like, as this starts to go through, if we have this super slow paced early game, it's not really like it's a massive favor for either side, right? Like for Eric, yes, you've got that scaling advantage over iBoy, but I can do relatively well. Side lanes are more what LGD are trying to look for, and I mean, look, Jay was thinking, how well is this Akali in towards that side, but not having the TP will mean that that Jay will need to be kind of situated with the team.
This is what I love, Dagda. We're going in. It's the onslaught of shadows to kick us off, and Leyen dies because of it. Fearness gets the kill. Get the grasping roots going a little bit wide. Yuyanja flashing over the wall, but LGD find the fight.
And they're still chasing down this Nautilus. Yuyanja, where are you gonna go? Trying to TP in with the wolves.
It was a 1-for-1. See if they can make it a 2-for-1. And he is.
Wait!
Oh, I thought he was going to be 1 with the wolves, but he is not. Yuyanja has to get away. Dredge line out. Fearness trying to chase him down, but Cube is there as defense.
Yeah, Fearness not able to spot him, so Yuyanja, it'll take him a little bit of longer time to get back, but he will return home safely. And Rift Out is still up and available. Neither team was able to get it despite the fact. So, as we come in here, just see Shadow, great engage going through here, you know, managing to get Fear on towards the Victor in the backline, which sets up nicely for Lien to get the kill, but as Drive is able to come back out, he managed to turn one back around. So, a 1-for-1 trade all said and done, as we may start to eye this one up once more. Eric and iBoy have made it back down towards the bottom side. Shadow looking to clear out vision. The Super Mega Death Rocket is up and available for Eric in just a few moments, so if Rare Adam are trying to contest, they do have to be worried that ult could end up connecting.
Very fitting that both junglers fall at the same time in the engage there in that last fight. We'll see if we get another fight, though. Deja vu as we put ourselves around the Rift Herald here. There's the engage from Yuyanja, but can the Shock Blast on the side help? Cube is in there doing damage. The Mega Death Rocket snipe from across the map is going to get the addition of Eric into the fight. LGD now trying to take it to Yuyanja, but he does not go down. Strive and Cube, the damage dealers here in the fight, are trying to separate Jay, but they might have put themselves into a fish in a barrel type situation as Jay is popping off and a double kill for the LGD mid laner.
4-0 for Jay now on this Akali. This Akali is going to be huge in this game. The fact that Shadow went down does mean that Lien does get the Rift Herald. It has got into the hands of Cube, but I think on LGD's side, they'll be happy with the amount of gold they picked up from that skirmish. And you see here, right? Great hook onto Shadow from Yuyanja. But with everyone kind of committing the damage to Shadow, who managed to stay alive for so long, the Super Mega Death Rocket picking off Lien as well, this turned into a 3v3 that's very scattered, with no real CC apart from Yuyanja to lock up Jay. He's having a field day here, as he just gets to pop back and forth, working with the two shrouds, and essentially between Fearless and the Hall of Mist, to keep LGD at healthy status and able to take the fight.
And it is terrifying there when those two get rolling together. But going at it the top side, a little bit of redemption there. Leanne spotted out with the lane ward from LGD.
And keep your eyes on Shadow, because he is waiting here in the wings, has the onslaught of shadows as well. So if they try to make a dive off of this Rift Herald play, they can get it. Jay will be spotted coming up river, so maybe they don't go for the dive. It might just be the Rift Herald.
Fearness actually going in on the aggressive here as devastating charge is available for Shadow. They see Leyen. They immediately turn onto him. He pops the Crescent Guard, but that onslaught of shadows is going to seal the deal. Leyen dies to Jay, of all people, giving him his 5th kill of the game.
Of course it had to be Jay. Jay gets all the kills in the LGD games. What are you on about? But hero MVP of that ward manages to spot out. Never going for more.
Diving under tower against Cube. The tower shots on Shadow. Oh, it's so close, but Fearless gets the kill. And success from LGD yet again.
I love the BM from Shadow as well. Just spamming the emotes. It's not even this game. It's just all the time.
You see him in his cam, too. He's just giggling, laughing like he's jumping around in his seat. It's great.
I mean, he's enjoying himself, right? Like, it's really cool to see as well, because like I remember casting Shadow back in like it was EU Masters 2018 when he was playing in the Italian league back in PG Masters, and the fact he's gone from there to LEC, now to LPL, it's been such a chaotic journey for him, but you can still see how much he loves the game, and the fact as well that he's having some pop-off moments. It's gotta feel good.
That's what I love so much about Shadow. That's why I would say he's one of my favorite players to watch and keep track of, because he has had such a weird and crazy story, but all the time kept the same mentality, at least outright, right? The happiness, the jovial laughing, the kind of taking every moment in stride and making sure to capitalize on those moments, knowing when things are going wrong, but still keeping the mental strong is something that I've always prided for Shadow himself.
Coming back into this, right? We're just coming up to the 15-minute mark. Let's take stock of where we are. As I say that, though, Shadow's about to change that stock. We'll have to see if it's up or down, though.
Are the stonks going up or are they going down? Devastating charge will mean that the stonks are rising, baby, and Fearless takes the kill.
LGD are going to the moon this game. I mean, you're getting Fearless in complete control now this top side. 4-1-4 on this Gwen. The Riftmaker already completed. She is so damn strong, and she hasn't even reset off the terror damage she's taken. Poor matchup for Fearless. Nah, 400 gold bounty. Jay as well in this mid lane, 5-0, is going to be unstoppable in these fights. And remember my sarcastic rant about iBoy trying to play this Vayne in team fights? Good luck to you, buddy, because it got a hell of a lot worse thanks to Shadow on this Hecarim.
Anytime I see the Hecarim and I'm an ADC, I get terrified because we've all been on the receiving end of those devastating charges / onslaught of shadows. It's never fun. And iBoy, I hope I know he hasn't more than likely, but I hope he watched the movie Dodgeball, because he's got to figure out how to dodge all these wrenches and kind of dip dive.
But the thing is,
dodge.
It's like heat-seeking wrenches. It's all point and click. Like, Shadow just runs at him and auto-attacks him and he hits him. Jin Zhao just hits W and it connects. Like, it doesn't, but these aren't wrenches. They're just like attached to the back and people are just flinging them at him.
Oh my god, I love it so much. We'll see RA trying something on bot side though, as the wind becomes lightning, connects onto Jin Zhao. The grasping roots utilized backwards though, trying to get them away from him. Jin Zhao just dies. Top lane, Cube, yet again. He's just being oppressed. He gets out with a nice flash.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shadow's always around when Cube's in question, but LGD starting to move up now. The Super Mega Death Rocket not able to connect. So at least on Rare Adam's side, trying to trade tip for tat on these side lanes is good. It's just that as you start to go forward, I just don't see where the win condition for Rare Adam is. Cube is too far behind. You have some good team fight structure, yes, with Lian's driving Yanja, but your follow-up isn't really there when you look at what LGD are trying to achieve. You've also got Rift Tower coming up in just a few moments, and with like the 9 kills on the LGD side situated between the two solo laners, that just feels like you're going to be able to walk on in and take that. Jay, so difficult to try and lock down. Same when you look at Fearless. I don't know how you try and contest this.
It's definitely going to be difficult, especially Jay about to finish his second item here while the spikes are coming through. But they do have to kind of bring it all together for RA, right? Make sure that they're being able to play this front-to-back style that they wanted to bring to the table, making sure that iBoy can be safe and that you're pulling for the Vayne, because we said the scaling factors are there, the damage factors are there for Strive and iBoy, but it's all about execution. So far, that is all in LGD's court. They're going to TP in here, though. They want to fight over the second Rift Herald. Jay taking the fight against Cube, though. He's got the follow-up, and Cube, you just die every time there. Fearless going forward. They've got everything they need. iBoy in the back does help get one cleared out, and that Mountain Rift is helping them a ton. Chaos Storm from Strive keeps them at bay. The flat from you, John to Eric. He misses the dredge line. The grasping roots come out. That's a triple root as Eric is popping away. Shadow gets condemned back, but Eric gets the kill anyways.
Yeah, Jinja not having the ultimate just at the start of that made it kind of tough for LGD to have multiple ways to follow up in the fight, but you can see as soon as that comes through, LGD take it. I'm pretty sure they also got the Rift Herald in the grand scheme of things as well, as Shadow finished that off. Yep, there it is, just in his back pocket, while that fight, or that scrap was happening mid, but we're just going to get a replay here, right? Like, Jay destroying Cube on the side lane, even with the knockback. He'd already connected with the Shuriken, so the flips to follow. And then, how do you deal damage here, right? Like, yes, iBoy gets a couple pop shots off onto the Gwen who went a bit too far forward with the Shroud, but up until that stage, like, iBoy just wasn't able to do anything. Eric, great reaction with the Gale Force. I actually didn't spot that the first time around, but you see there the ult comes through from the Maokai and makes it impossible for Rare Adam to follow up. iBoy and Strive just have to run away. Now we're at Dragon and ding ding ding. Sounded like round 2.
We're ready for the fight here as iBoy joining the fray. 5-man squad from RA is present. They got to be careful not to get picked apart. You got Jay on the flip side and ready for the flank. RA realize the predicament they're in and they pull off.
Yeah, they don't want to try and go against this, but Jay just getting hooked in the mid lane. Rift Tower pop from bot side will get the tower as they get the Dragon. So double trade up for LGD. Leon trying to see if he can get onto Fearless as he goes through, get this Rift Tower down so they can't take the tower, but still LGD taking River. I'm spotting a couple of members from Rare A.
Oh no, iBoy. Devastating charge into the onslaught of Shadows. Clintz came out though, and Shadow might have overextended now. He gets hit by the dredge line. iBoy chained up by the Flame Chompers, but Strive gets the kill onto Shadow. Here comes Jay though with the perfect execution. Megadeth Rocket gets blown away by the Crescent Guard. Here we go, back in Fearness. The flank from Cube though, they turn around immediately as a double kill comes across for Fearness. That's a big turnaround for LGD.
And you can see how difficult it is to operate in these fights as Rare Adam, right? Like iBoy and Strive getting zoned off, one by Jay, another by Shadow. Then you've got Jinjiao who's able to come in with the ultimate again and lock up iBoy after Cleanse is burnt. Now Eric, honestly, might just chase him down, had the Gale Force and the opportunity to continue poking from afar, but LGD coming out with more and more victories here. Despite the 15-7 gold lead, or kill lead though, there is only a slight 2,000 gold lead for for LGD right now.
And I think that's very telling at how RA are staying, being able to find at least something passively, as well as they're not getting put too far behind. And even in moments like this is an overextension from Shadow.
Yeah, I mean, massively so, right? Like, Shadow goes in that bit too far, thinks he can get iBoy, but kind of forgetting about the cleanse. And then the re-engage here from Rare Adam is also the over-aggression, right? Fearness has the hollowed mist here. You don't have the damage, so you get the 2 quick kills coming through for Fearness alongside the healing, especially when both solo laners of LGD have built for team fights, right? Like, you're not going for the Nashor's Tooth or going for something else on Jay. You're looking more at like the Zonya's Hourglass, which is going to help him with survivability in fights. The Cosmic Drive, which helps you with your movement speed in team fights and trying to keep pace with the members of RA that are trying to run away.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep all eyes on Jay, especially in the team fights and how he navigates those. So we'll bring our attention to the 1-3-1 set up by LGD. Not exact answers, I feel like, for RA, but their answers to just go in on mid. Devastating charge into Onslaught of Shadows again, just pulling RA away from the fight. Although Eric might find you Yanja. There you go. Eric's going, excited now. He's still going. Got the lethal tempo procced. And now Jay coming to slam them home. He's going in. No way. Okay, misses the Shuriken deployment. I think that's a good thing. And Jay does not go in any further.
Yeah, I feel like we need to rename Jay to Jaws in this game and just like play that music every time he's running around, because like it just feels like whenever Jay is close, someone's about to go down. But not able to do so that time around. LGD now will get that mid lane turret. TP coming through from Cube, who realizes he's overextended, and that side lane pressure shut down right quick by LGD.
Even Jay there's like, just in case he stayed in the bush, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the shurikens in there. Not gonna be so. And honestly, I'm very surprised at the state of the game right now, right? We feel like LGD have had the complete control, and for the most part they have. They have a Gwen who's 6-2. They have Jay in the mid lane who's 6-0, 3-0 on Eric, but it's still just a slight gold lead for LGD to an extent. And it's still RA looking promising when iBoy can navigate the fights.
If he can. Like, this is where I'm coming into the problem with Rare Adam, right? Like, Strive, yes, has a good amount of burst damage. So if someone gets close to him, you can try and burst him out. The only person that you really have that opportunity with is Jay, because Fearness will have the Shroud. Shadow, you could technically burst out, but he's going full tank, so he's going to be kind of difficult to burst out the Hecarim. And Eric's just going to be out of range for you. So it's actually pretty difficult for Rare Adam to operate fights in just the way that they're building the fact that they don't really have any sort of backline pressure for Eric. So in 90% of fights, Eric should be totally fine. Even Eric, like, I would personally prefer to probably see the Kraken Slayer build come out from him, but I can kind of understand with the burst that he's a bit worried about being mispositioned as Shadow catches.
Yep, there's no way Cube hits. Oh wait, see you. Just not realize or not seeing anybody else in the map makes LGD pull away. They had the tools to commit there, but an overextension could mean the Dragon goes over to RA. So a little bit of assuredness from LGD there as we see the 1v1 continuing in the bot side. But all the bodies from LGD definitely focused around this objective.
Yeah, patience from LGD because of that Dragon, right? You don't want to pull the trigger on these big ultimates, especially from like Fearness and from Shadow right before these fight kicks off. Because, I mean, Hecarim's whole identity in team fights is this ultimate. And a lot of Fearness damage goes out the window, and kind of the AoE damage specifically with this when you lose that ultimate as well. So I like the fact that LGD played that slow. Strive, though, pushing in his top lane, knows that he has the TP to get to a fight if needs be, and it looks like Rare Adam are just going to trade this Dragon for that vision control around the barrier.
Bit of trading going on. Will be sole point for LGD, though. A very, very precarious predicament, I feel like, for RA, because it does force their hand further on in the game. But yep, Jin Zhao will spot this happening. They're only about a couple thousand health down. It means RA back away.
Yeah, I just love that. It's just like, excuse me, could you not? As he places down the ward, it's like, we are aware of this. We know that this is happening. You're
like,
fooling nobody here,
We can
Rare
see
Adam.
you. It's like somebody hiding behind a very tiny tree in the middle of a park or something. It's like, I can see you there. Cube can see Fearness and Shadow and Mega Death Rocket as all three come together to get the kill for Eric.
It's a symphony of death for Cube. It looks beautiful from LGD as they're able to corral him directly into the waiting arms of Eric, who will pick up his 4th kill of the game. They're looking at 6 kills apiece for the solo
half of his
laners.
kills with snipes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's one of the benefits with Jinx, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Jinx is one of the AD carries I love playing whenever I play AD carry. Because I suck at the laning phase. But if I can just fire a rocket off, pick up like 2-3 kills in the early stages, I come out looking like a god from the laning phase. So, I mean, it's a viable strategy that teams can enact, and Eric's been doing a wonderful job of it this time around.
It's the funniest thing that now, like, it was always about the intricacy of Jinx and like, oh, you gotta switch between the weapons and stuff. Now it's just since Lethal Tempo came along, just pull out Fishbones.
Just go brrr.
Just pull out Fishbones, shoot rockets over and over again, no big deal. We'll see if Yuyanja actually wants this fight. This is a 2v or 3v5 rather, and Yuyanja's already almost dead. Jay gets the kill, and there's no hope for RA in this one. Fearness is taking a 1v2. Shadow's in the pit, still dying to the spikes, but they get the Baron, and LGD now moving forward. The perfect execution. Jay just dies outright, though. This is a big fight for RA. Can they turn this around? Strive getting a double kill.
And that's what we're talking about, right? Like, Strive has the opportunity to burst out Jay if Jay goes in without the Shroud and isn't able to play it safe. So Jay tries to go back in off the reset on the team fight, but ends up costing him alongside Jin Zhao. So it is going to be the 1-4-2 in kills, but with Baron going the way of LGD, now the issues start to come into play for Rare Adam, as you can start to siege up with this Jinx and make things happen for LGD. But great fight to start things off, right? Like, Yuyanja goes down, and here, a miscommunication on LGD side, right? Like, Jay can play up alongside Fearness here and actually look for some of the kills on towards the 2-man unit on the top side, but you can see there, like, Jay goes in, has no real damage or survivability, and with the already completed Lich Bane that came through the 2nd item for Strive, he hurts if he's able to get on top of you first.
Yeah, this Mountain Soul is helping a lot. These close quarters, especially that. Oh no. Yuyanja misses the flash over the wall, will forfeit his life because of it.
And not much to say there. Unfortunate. Shadow now moving in, trying to get vision control established. A minute and a half until this next dragon, so LGD very much turning their focus towards that Mountain Soul. Push in on the bot side as well. Wave is totally fine on top end as you can see Strive trying to move up to at least get some wave control over top lane, but you got push mid as well. Like, you're in a great spot here for LGD to take this tower, have your vision control established in the jungle, reset, and come out and look for that fight. And if you're trying to enter river for Rare Adam, how do you try and do that, right? Like, Fearness can set up really well at these chokes. Same when you look at the Jin Zhao ultimate. Eric's going to be totally fine. And you're even setting up for Shadow of these big ultimates if he doesn't get caught.
I don't know if that's what you want to do. And luckily, Eric is there to pop some shots into iBoy, but Shadow goes in, goes immediately out.
All right, it's not the end of the world. Shadow's ult should be back up in time. The rest of LGD needs to reset, though. I don't know why they're sticking around here. Like, you actually want to get back here pretty quickly to try and maintain control over the river, but Eric isn't resetting. Same with Jin Zhao. Jin Zhao's running out of wards, and as Rare Adam start to clear out all this vision, this could have been a mistake from LGD. It might give access to Rare Adam to this river once more.
As RA moving in as a full 5-man towards this mid lane, trying to get some real estate in front of this Baron pit, or Dragon pit rather. I will say, 4th item just completed for Fearness will be that Nasher now, and the item differentials are still present, but it's more so iBoy versus Eric in this moment. Who stays alive the longest? Who can put out that consistent damage? Can Jay find the pick? We get set for this 5v5. This Dragon, all pivotal for LGD to secure this win. They don't need it. RA can force the issue here as Jay going around the side for the flank. It's a little bit early, and now LGD are split all the way across the map. They got to get back together if they want to take this fight. You have Shadow over the wings. There's grasping roots. They're forcing into Shadow's hands here. And this is all set up from LGD beautifully. The Jay engage on the back line. You've got iBoy still alive on the side. He's doing work on this Vayne. You've got to get the Vayne. You've got to get the Vayne. He's still going. He's still going. 2 kills, 3 kills. Can it be a quadra? Can it be a penta? Oh my God! RA smashed a team fight and a pentakill for iBoy.
Nobody got onto iBoy. All the point-and-click CC that we talked about, all the opportunities to try and lock up this Vayne, and nobody actually does it. Rare Adam able to play against what LGD have, and for LGD again, it looked good at the start, but there were so many issues in that team fight where they weren't actually able to play it out correctly. Like Eric getting incredibly low, taking a ton of damage coming through from the Victor. You've got the Jay not able to follow up onto the key carries. They're still jumping onto Cube, but Cube isn't the problem in these fights. He's 2 and 7. You've got to get onto the Victor or the Vayne. You see it here, right? Like, Grasping Roots comes through, but Eric takes a massive accelerated shock blast at the start of this, so he's got to play that super safe alongside Lien. Jay focusing on towards the Cube as well, not paying attention towards iBoy. Like, nobody here has put any sort of damage, CC, or anything over towards iBoy, and that is a massive mistake that you cannot make in these team fights.
3 people walked past him or used abilities past iBoy. The devastating charge, the onslaught of shadows, Jay's perfect, like everything was just not thrown at iBoy, and that sets up iBoy beautifully. Now he's going to the moon as he's got 6 kills, having finished his 4th item because of that. And this changes the entirety of the game, and we're 32 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, look, it definitely opens up windows for Rare Adam, but I think it's also going to be a slap in the face, a rude awakening for LGD, is now they can realize we need to get iBoy, but where are you going? No one's there.
They're still not going for him. He's still untouched, and he's going to find another kill. iBoy is on fire right now. He's using the cleanse. He's going forward. He's getting the essence here, but that is it for the fight. It's just the 1-for-1, top for support.
LGD have no idea to team fight. My God, like, this is Shadow going way overextended there. Not even connecting onto iBoy. iBoy's sitting there in the wings and he's still trying to focus on towards Lien. I don't understand it. Now you get mid pushed in, they can turn over towards this Baron, and you know that with how fed iBoy is, they can try and just burst it down. LGD don't even feel comfortable trying to contest this right now.
How have we even gotten to this point? Look, I am mind blown that we went from a game where iBoy was so quiet. There was literally nothing coming out of this Vayne. It was all Cube. It was all Strive. It was all Lien. Coming off of a pentakill, now he is who you have to worry about. He is who you have to focus down, and they still don't do it.
Who did Cube hurt? Like, what did Cube say before this game? that everyone in LGD is like, we have to kill
I feel
Cube.
like it's mostly Shadow.
Yeah. But like, even when we looked at like that last team, like the actual team fight, Jay just completely ignored iBoy despite the fact he was like right beside him. So I don't know, but someone somewhere has a vendetta against Cube, and iBoy is making the most of it.
Exactly what you gotta do. The theme feels like it's been strike when the iron is hot. We'll see if Jay can do so. Oh my god. Yanja flashes but dies anyways. And that's the kind of pick you need for LGD. iBoy stepping up. Maybe we're going to get the trigger pull from Shadow, but I think he's realized his transgressions earlier on. They start up the Baron to try and force RA's hand.
But now you are heavily reliant on Shadow getting this big engage onto iBoy, and he's already at half health. Jinzhou trying to see if he can get that twisted advance, but
Look at the confidence.
I mean, yeah, Cube is just pushing them back. Like, it's like, yes, iBoy stepping forward, but it is certainly just Cube being able to keep the accelerate shot class there, and LGD being disjointed on actually going for the re-engage.
A lot of health loss as well from Shadow on the Baron as he was taking the spikes on the backside of the pit. So nicely done from RA to kind of play forward like that, as you were saying, utilizing Cube pressure, iBoy playing up and just making sure that he can't get that Baron for free and snowball this even more. And we're getting to a point where it's very even, right? Like, we have full build coming through for Strive himself. We're getting there for the ADs, and the gold lead, very insignificant at this point, only about 1,000, but even more so because of the momentum in this game.
LGD trying to get priority now in mid lane. Still one dragon away from Soul, but Rare Atom, they control this area. Now, can they get onto iBoy? Can they try and orchestrate this? No flash on Jinzhou, but iBoy will have his up momentarily and the cleanse as well. So those point and clicks, maybe iBoy can try and avoid them.
Also on the other side, Eric just trying to find something to hold on to in these fights, right? He's got the stopwatch now. We have a lot available for LGD. Shadow on the flank as well. But I feel like we're getting to the last straws here for LGD. They've got to find a good team fight, and they've got to make it count. Here we go. It's front to back, and it's working out beautifully for LGD. They are caught in the chokehold, but it's because of the Strive Chaos Storm, and you can't get any more damage from that. Devastating Charge doesn't connect. iBoy flashing over the walls. Beautiful. Eric's still full health, though, meaning a 4v4 can ensue. Again, it's been a trade of top 4 support for either side. Jay connects it, but can't go through with it. Strive able to separate the distance here, and this could just be Dragon number 3 for RA, and it is.
Yeah, I mean, they're investing so much into these fights for LGD, but again, like, not getting onto iBoy, he's able to flash away. Then you're looking at going, right, Fearness goes overextended, he goes down, and because Jay doesn't have the perfect execution, and there's no Onslaught Shadows for Shadow, they're just able to back away. Now they just turn straight towards the Baron.
Oh my God.
You know that this is happening. Jay has perfect execution back up, though. This could be it, but it's
Shadow
gone.
gotta go.
Can Shadow
Shadow's gotta go. He's gotta get in there. He's not gonna pull the trigger, and that's a Baron for RA. They want to take the fight afterwards. Jay taking a lot of damage on the back of it, though. Shadow waiting, not wanting to pull the trigger yet. The Onslaught of Shadows is up, and he goes in for the double. That's huge for LGD. They're TPing in. This could be the snowball, just like in game number 1. That sealed it for LGD. Fearness going for it, hits iBoy with the needlework. He's going to die, though. iBoy on the back is still alive. It's 2v4, and LGD come away with it.
Rare Atom do get the Baron, but LGD win the fight. They've now got the wave in top if they want to try and push in onto the turret as well. You cannot try and defend this as Rare Atom because there's just too many moving parts that can still try and jump on you underneath the tower. Jinzhou crucially has his flash back up, so that point and click CC for iBoy is up and available.
It is, and they're pushing in the top side. The excited Crocs coming through for Eric as they try to get this inhib tower. iBoy able to wave clear with Strive, though, and it pulls LGD off the top side.
Well, GD will back away. Tower in their favor. All outer towers down now for LGD. Rare Atom, they're trying desperately to continue to play these fights, but you can see, look, when the moving parts are actually there and LGD are able to make it work, it's so damn strong. Also, Jay, wonderfully well played fight. Moves in with the initial part of the perfect execution, instantly dives back out with the Shuriken can flip to buy space, and even though he knows that, look, he's going to have to invest a lot in this fight, managed to keep himself safe. and Shadow as well, just about out to follow up to get the double kill. Fearless as well, unfortunate here, tries to go for the predict on which way iBoy was moving, completely flubs it. I don't think he needed to toss that out that quickly, just kind of panic stations. You could see LGD were like, maybe this is the fight that can win the game, but that adrenaline pumping through them causes mistakes.
It definitely does. I will say, I could just imagine Shadow smashing his R key that entire time because he was like literally a couple seconds from going. He's like, I gotta go. And he finally gets it off and gets that double kill for it. So beautifully done for LGD to buy some time, but especially to outposition Rare Adam in that fight. RA take a position themselves in the mid lane. We have 2 minutes until the dragon. Neither of these teams want to let this Mountain Soul go.
No Baron buff going to be situated for Rare Adam very soon as well. Not really getting much off the play thanks to that team fight from LGD. We'll start to group up on the spot lane because they see Fearless trying to shove in that top. So maybe they'll get a tower for their troubles. But I mean, for LGD, you're fairly all right with that. I don't know about committing 2 members to this mid lane though, because now Rare Adam are going to get more. What are you? Oh my!
What are these games, Dax? What are those? As Inhib Tower falls in the bot lane, RA don't get the inhib as they're getting surrounded. Jay and Shadow on the back. Shadow has been spotted out, but RA feel confident to go in. They want to take the 5v3 before they can get to the fight. iBoy's still alive. He's gotten one of them. He's going to go for 2. This is the fight for RA. iBoy is still alive. Is he going to survive for much longer? The shield bow is doing so much work. They've done it. RA win the series.
A quadra kill for Stride to finish it out. And LGD, their team fighting and decision making came back to bite them as Rare Adam will push on to the next.
How does this happen? iBoy, RA from the brink of misery come out and take their 2nd series win of the season. What a game and what a series from RA. You see the smiles on their faces. They know they just came away with a wonderful victory.
And Rare Adam played that so well. I mean, look, we can look at LGD and the mistakes that they made in a moment, but realistically, like, the performance from iBoy on the Vayne was confident. Positioning was great. Being able to move away from so many different moving parts of LGD. The flashes were crucial and bang on time as well for when he needed them in team fights. And for Rare Adam, it's going to be a big sigh of relief because that was a game where they were pushed for a large portion of the early game. But the fact that they could bring it back with Drive and iBoy in the late game, just pushing them across the line. The confidence from Rare Adam to pick iBoy Vayne in the final game of the series, and us shaking our heads, scratching our heads. This short range ADC, how is it gonna work? How is it even gonna function? How is it gonna kill anybody? He gets a penta, he gets a quadra. They do not focus him a single time in the fights, and LGD lose 3-4 consecutive team fights to lose the game in wonderful fashion for iBoy, who had such a quiet series up until this last game. Yeah, and we kind of said, look, this isn't exactly this hasn't been a series that was focused on the AD carries, but when it came down to that, it was like, hey, look, you really need to pay attention here. And again, Cube obviously really pissing off LGD from game 1 and game 2 of this series, because everything that LGD wanted to do was focused on Cube, but it meant that in these fights, iBoy was getting to thrive, Strive was getting to thrive, and they're just able to continuously dishing out the damage. And I gotta say, for this Maokai pick as well, wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was other options that you could have gone for that probably would have netted you more. And again, like, LGD's team fighting is really looking abysmal. Like, Eric getting caught out in a ton of these fights, lack of coordination, no real selection on your, like, targets. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm all for praising Rare Adam for their game, but this was an LGD game to lose, and
absolutely,
they did it in fantastic fashion.
Yeah, and like I kind of mentioned earlier, it was like, okay, you get another chance at this, LGD. You get another chance at the team fight. Can you focus the right targets? No? All right, let's try a 3rd time. Does it work? No? Okay, let's try a 4th. Oh, well, you lost the game. And so for LGD, they're going to be kicking themselves for this one. They had the series in their hands, But it was just overextensions, the communication not being there, as well a little bit of that draft difference with the Maokai coming in. So I will say for LGD, definitely a rough one, but even better for RA to come out with this victory, to persevere through that first game. That was really rough. And to come out with a 2-0 reverse sweep, not too shabby.
Yeah, and again, like I think a lot of that coming down to like Lian looking great in this ins out, like being able to provide the front line that was desperately needed for this composition, and did make it tough for Eric, right? Like it felt like Eric in a lot of situations was trying to position himself to deal damage to Lian, but because of that was getting caught out in a lot of these fights. So kind of Lian baiting and switching a little bit on towards LGD. And as well, then Strive bursting at Jay in a lot of these fights, trying to play that more defense utility style for iBoy as well. Like we saw him go for the Everfrost. He knew that like a lot of these fights was going to be about zone control and buying space for iBoy, and that played dividends where we get the pentakill for the AD carry.
We did. I'm just so happy to have gotten to cast the pentakill there. But it's also just like incredible in that moment, right? Like you could literally feel the sides changing in the game, especially after that pentakill, right? Like it just felt like the sides completely swapped and there was no momentum for LGD, even though they had been leading. You saw that gold graph, it was all in their favor and completely swapped. So I guess that's another question for me is like that momentum shift, that mentality switch for RA, is that something we see consistently from them going through the rest of the season? Because I think that can be important, especially if you're not one of those top performing teams. You're not at the top of the table. You have to be able to knock out, drag out, fight, come away with series like this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just think it's so hard for me to kind of like look, yes, Rare Adam won, but like if I go into a game and I'm like, hey, look, we have a 5-0 Akali and a 4-1-4 Gwen at the 15-minute mark, like how do you lose that? Like, I don't know. Like I'm trying really hard not to be negative, but Mike, like there's so many times I look at LGD and just like, look, lads, you get these good early games. Like, you just need to figure out some coordination in team fights. Like Shadow, like running up mid lane just to int. It's not even on to like iBoys to try and pick off Cube, who was already like 7 or 8 deaths at this stage. He's irrelevant. Like, I don't know. There's so much there. Yeah, like it's very frustrating to watch because it again. I think I said at the start of the day, right? It always feels like when I'm watching LGD, I'm just waiting. It's like, hey, look, they're doing well, but I'm waiting. I know the throw is coming. I know the mistake's going to happen, and every single time it comes through. But look, coming back to Rare Adam, I think it hasn't been the best of early games for them in this series so far, right? Cube at least had the 1v1 advantage for game 1 and game 2, got a ton of attention in game 3, which set him behind. And when you needed then other members of the team to step up, I think Strive still performing fantastically. Despite the rough early game in game 1, still looking pretty damn good in game 2 and game 3. And iBoy, when the chips were down, coming out on top.
Yeah, and also through all that, Leanne being able to fight fire with fire a little bit, right? Coming into this series specifically, it was about these junglers going at each other. But we'll come back to that conversation because I do hear we are ready for our interview. So we're going to send it over to hear from Cube of RA.
Hello everyone, welcome to the post-game interview in Shanghai studio. This is Christina. Now we're joined by Cube, the top laner from Rare Atom. Congratulations on your win. I know you have been experienced a little bit of hard time before today's matchup. So how do you feel right now? And how does that victory mean to you guys? 让我们欢迎 Cube 选手来到赛后采访。想请问一下，我们可能知道之前的 RA 经历一些不小的困境嘛，但是你们今天一扫颓势，终结连败，现在感觉怎么样呢？并且你觉得这一场胜利对于你们队伍来说意味着什么呢？
就我们之前一直连跪吧，就可能人都麻掉了吧，就大家人都麻掉了，然后这一场胜利应该就挺好的吧，应该能改变一点吧，就大家之前都是麻的。
Actually, we were so confused before that because we are in the 5 losing streak. But now we feel pretty good, and I think it will increase our momentum. Next question is about the game 2. In game 2, there was a 4 versus 5 team fight around the Baron pit at 24 minutes. At that time, your mid laner Strive was killed by your opponent, but you guys still can secure the Baron successfully, and you got 4 kills in your pocket. Share us more details about that team fight. 接下来想要问一下，第二局在24分钟的大龙团，当时你们的中单选手 Strive 是已经死掉了嘛？但是你们还是能非常成功的锁定了大龙，并且也是拿到了4个人头。想可以跟我们分享一下当时更多的细节吗？
但是就是对面抓我们下路嘛，我们就直接打大龙嘛。然后我们人死了，但对面都过来了，我们就想打完走嘛。但是对面要上来送，我们就只能打起来了。
At that time, our Strive was killed by our opponent in bot lane, and our initial proposal is to get the Baron and escape. But it feels like our opponent they want to engage in us, so we just decided to counter back and fight back to get this win on that team fight. I'm really curious about, did you anticipate that they will pick Maokai as support in Game 3? 第三局你们有没有预料到对面会选出一个大树这样的辅助呢？
没有预料到吧？但是其实他辅助下去选的话，我们ban掉2个，他其实就也只能选点奇怪了吧，因为强的一定会被我们ban掉。
Actually, we didn't anticipate that they will pick Maokai, this champion, as support. But actually, we have banned there are a lot of support champions in ban pit phase. So we just think they will pick a lot of weird champion like Maokai. So my final question is about in game 3, your enemy opponent put a lot of pressure on top lane, and how do you feel and how did you deal with it? 第三局的时候呢，对面也是在前期就开始非常针对你的上路。当时你在被抓了很多次之后，你的一个应对策略是什么呢？
当时的话，就第一波没有死掉的话，我就觉得其实没有那么好抓了吧。但是之后一直在抓我的话，我觉得是我们自己先锋那里没有处理好吧，才给了他一直来上路的机会，不然我感觉打野这样玩是很容易崩掉的。
I think maybe we made a little bit mistakes around the rift hurried, so their jungler can gank me a lot and made a lot of tower dive. Or I don't think it's a better playstyle for jungler to gank me around the top lane for so many times. I'm really curious about what was your team's reaction when you saw iBoy got a pentakill, and what's your very late game strategies because your enemy opponent, their jungler, he was trying to find a lot of opportunities to engage your iBoy。最后一个问题想要问一下，其实，在你们当时队内看到 iBoy 选手拿到5杀之后，你们的沟通是什么？并且你们大后期的一个策略是什么呢？因为对面的人马一直在非常非常多找机会去想要 gank 到开到 iBoy 选手。
第5把就艾薇5杀之后，就大家都觉得能赢嘛，然后就保他们嘛，就双 C 不能死，我们都可以死，就想着保他们双 C 打吧，就这样。
Our very late game strategy is to protect iBoy and play around iBoy because when we saw iBoy got a pentakill at that Baron pit, we feel that we can win this game. 好的，让我们再次感谢 Cube 选手来到我们的赛后采访，也希望 RA 之后能获得更多的胜利。Back to you guys.